Okay, so I was prolonging this protractable goat fuck, but yeah, fuck it. I thought I would just do a video on it, give it my thoughts, and this kind of just illustrates for me how antagonistic the entertainment industry is to its customers. Like this is something I've mentioned before. It's a quote from Yellow Flash. They had this mentality of, "Are you good enough to be my customer?" But he usually says this about the voice actors in the animation translation industry in America. I say you could say that as much about people in any entertainment industry, in movies, in American comics, and TV shows. Probably even in some bands. I don't really pay much attention to the music scene unless it involves Sabaton, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, they're just very arrogant, and they act like they're too big to fail. You know, the Nazis had that problem. They thought they were too big to fail. Next thing you know, a bunch of Ruskies are invading, and the next thing you know, you're being overrun, and a Russian flag is being planted above one of your buildings. And that's temporarily ignoring their blatant Bolshevik politicalization of the industry, of making everything about politics, which kind of leads, or just trying to dumb things down and sanitize everything to unnecessary levels. Which normally I wouldn't mind because, well, actually, no, I do mind because there's certain things that I think shouldn't be dumbed down and sanitized. Mainly the Punisher and Red Hood, but there are other things. Hopefully Bond Dessiné isn't doing that since I started with them, or started reading them. But that leads me into this old article. Well, not old, it's only a couple days old, or 2 days old, actually, and I forgot to cover it. Or I was prolonging going onto it because it just seems kind of stupid to me. Not the article, it's what the subject matter is about. And why it's stupid is because this is a heavy metal magazine. Heavy metal. Heavy metal should be the least PC thing out there. The least PC thing. Like, I look at some heavy metal music, how it sounds demonic in a good way, which is what I like about it. It should be the stuff you hear blasting in your ears while you play The Darkness 1 and 2. It should be the stuff that gives Puritans and Rush Limbaugh's wife panic attacks. That's what heavy metal should be. It should be the stuff of nightmares for people who are busybodies. And the artwork should be fan-fucking-tastic. Which is why you should be seeing 2 examples of heavy metal art. Well, I consider it heavy metal art. One's from a wiki, I believe. Well, actually, I can't remember where I got the other one. The other one I got from Buying Into Comics, but one of them is Elric and Melna Benet. Like, these 2 covers, and the one of Tarna that is what she used to look like. And you should have also seen this in the thumbnail, but they look badass and good while doing it. And they dumb down, and they just dress her up. Like, normally I wouldn't mind. It's not really that I mind that they put her in fully clothing. It's how they responded to the criticism. Like, these women in heavy metal magazines and comics, they shouldn't look like people in real life. They should look like people you would, if you saw in real life, your dick would probably drop off because the boner was so massive. Or you'd want to ask them out right away because you're like, I need to put a ring on this and settle it. Well, if you're dumb enough to try that, God help you. But moving on. And the article about Bounding into Comics is titled "Heavy Metal Magazine Mocks Fan Not Happy with the New Armored Tarna Cover." And there's actually a video about it where it just shows mainly what Tarna looks like normally. Yeah, looks like something straight out of a heavy metal cover. Or from that one episode of South Park where Kenny got high off of a cat's farts. And there was this big-breasted woman, and the whole thing felt like something out of a music video that would never be made today because no one would have the balls to produce or promote it. I think you can see where I'm going with this. The point is, we live in a shitty puritanical time period. Like, there was a time when if you wanted to do this, Hollywood would be like, fuck it, do it. But that's only in comics. And if it's like adult television, they don't give a shit. Usually. Like Game of Thrones, which they ruined the shit, which sucks, but moving on. Heavy Metal Magazine first shared the cover to Instagram to promote an interview with Stephanie Phillips with CBR, who is a terrible brand to be sharing your information with, just FYI, about the finale and her plans for Tanara and the new armor. If you are unfamiliar with Tarna, Heavy Metal Magazine's official description reads, actually, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Tarna. Yeah, I can't pronounce it right. Fuck it. Is the last living Tarakian and the guardian of our universe, a hybrid being born of great warrior Tarnak and a dying universe. Tarna is the personified form of one of the youngest universes in the multiverse. They add, with her flying steed, Avis, and armed with her sword, Novera, Tarna travels from world to world, protecting the universe from the threat of Kako, an embodiment of evil. Tarna removes all the weeds that threaten the health of her universe, which is a cosmic garden from her point of view. As you can see, Tarna is typically depicted in a bikini outfit with a pauldron and gauntlet on her right arm. However, that changed in Tarna issue 5, where she put on a full suit of armor. Speaking with CBR, Phillips discussed the design the new battle armor in issue 5 and 6. Phillips explained one really cool element of the finale was getting to design a new battle armor for Tarna. Al and Brian created some of the coolest armor of... Yeah, you know what? Screw that. I don't really care what this woman has to say. She does after she was... Okay, so she donned the armor after she was severely injured in issue 4, following a fight with a giant serpent. In that issue, well, at least they're not afraid to show blood, is all I can really say. After recovering from her injury at a temple at the edge of the universe, and she... I like these names they have, at least. They sound very alien. Like, they don't sound like... But fantasy at the same time. They don't sound like normal names. Aside from being injured against the serpent, the only explanation for the armor is that she needs to be prepared as she hunts down Urkus. In fact, even with the armor, she is shown beaten down, so it didn't even really do much for her in the 5th issue. So it serves no purpose then. In response to a number of fans on their initial Instagram post, Heavy Metal clearly mocked them. One user wrote, They finally cover she up. Heavy Metal responded, most people have more than one outfit, it turns out. Heavy Metal responded, Another wrote, Rip Tarna. They responded, does changing clothes kill people? We had no idea. Do you not change your underwear? This explains so much. One wrote, I'm torn. While I generally despise bikini armor as a whole, I also have a pretty severe disdain for the complete changing of iconic characters and looks. At what point does it become an entirely different character, and where exactly is the ridiculous line for the scantily clad heroine? Heavy Metal answered, have you read the books to understand the context of the outfit, or are you just making assumptions? Trust us. Read it and you will understand. Also, people should change clothes and looks that natural. As noted above, the change to an outfit doesn't really make sense from a story point, as she goes from getting injured by a giant serpent to fighting a completely different enemy. Nevertheless, Heavy Metal would use the lines in multiple responses. Yeah, they got snarky. They just... Okay, here... They added in one response... Oh, here it is. An official statement, relax guys, it's just armor, no change is scary, but you got this. This is Heavy Metal. We have always experimented and pushed the envelope because that's art. It changes, grows, and evolves. We have and always will push the boundaries of art, storytelling, and culture. Oh, that's rich. They added, if you are uncomfortable with change and growth, then you will go the way of the dinosaur. Instead, we encourage you to open your minds and take the ride on heavy metal. One person wrote, the changes sucked. Respect your fans. They responded, no, we don't want fans like that. We are good, thank you. We didn't change it for any... They claim that they didn't change it for any political reasons. We did it because... They also claim they did it because it made sense in the story and gave the character a chance to grow. This is all pretty clear if you read the series. I seem to recall they did something like this with Red Hood. They changed up his look because they wanted him to change appearance over time if the comic continued to run. But the Red Hood people didn't do anything like this. They didn't get snarky. They didn't say go. They didn't tell people where to stick their opinions up. So that's weird. That's just weird. The new people running heavy metal must really hate their fans. Why do you hate us? One guy wrote. They responded with, think about your question realistically. You are an adult, we assume. Would it make sense for a company that works so hard to create and bring new art to hate its fans? Or are you just uncomfortable with change and growth? Again, I think that's all I really wanted to read. The point is, they're kind of acting like... any of you watch South Park? You know that one episode with Mambla? Or is it Nambla? No, it's Mambla. Mambla. I don't remember, but Cartman got really high off his own farts, figuratively, and said his friends weren't mature enough for him, so he went to find new friends. That led him to Mambla, the Man-Boy Love Association. If you don't know who that is, I would say look it up, but on the off chance the FBI starts investigating you, you might not wanna, because they will probably use any excuse to throw you under the bus, like Eric Cartman in another episode. But, yeah, that's what this reads like to me. They are high off their own farts. They think they know what they're doing, which they could have, but they didn't have to be pricks and cunts about it. And, yeah, no, they have not been the same apparently since, like, they weren't like this before. It wasn't until someone else bought them that they started acting like, well, people high off their own farts. They weren't acting like Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams, basically. And Kathleen Kennedy. So yeah, this goes back to my whole, the entertainment industry has no respect for its customers, or it has an antagonistic relationship to its customers. This is kind of like what Razorfist called the HBO effect. This is what Marvel's going through. The difference is Marvel and these people, they don't subsist on subscriptions. They subsist on customers continuously buying the comics. And they seem to think they're too big to fail. And again, I reiterate, the Nazis thought they were too big to fail also. The next thing you know, you had a bunch of Ruskies playing their flag on your roof. Anything can go wrong at any time, regardless of how big you think you are. Actually, you can be the biggest motherfucker on the planet, and someone can come up and floor you. They can lay you out and bend you over the table at any time. Like, shit happens. And that's life, basically. Anything can go wrong. And actually, one commentator wrote, Cartoon Lenny wore more clothes on now. How PP becomes a big PP if can't see lady skin. Outrage, basically. Okay, yeah. No. Fuck this. Fuck Heavy Metal Magazine. That is disappointing of the highest caliber. And I'm not even going to read this anymore because it just makes you go... Yeah, no, this kind of makes you want to put a bullet in your head just reading. My head hurts just reading it. Then... there was another article that Yellow Flash brought up about Mark Miller, but I'm not even going to Yeah, I'm not even going to. There was also an article I'd like to reference about Ta-Nehisi Coates calling out Marvel and their treatment of their creators. I just want to say this, considering how Marvel treats their customers. Oh, boo-hoo. The content creators who shit on their customers on a weekly basis get abused themselves. What do I care? They're pricks. And I know, you're thinking that's insensitive. You're right, it is insensitive. What I should be saying is, they kind of deserve this for the fact that they've been bringing the industry under. It's like they're willingly trying to make the industry like Old Yeller so they can take it out back and plug it behind the ear. They're not making comics anymore, they're making propaganda. But back to the Heavy Metal magazine. The point is, this is the problem with people who create content now in the mainstream. They both think they are too big to fail, and that if you disagree with them, you're either an idiot or something evil. Kind of like the social justice jackasses, but there's actually some humor in seeing these morons fail. So I hope, Tarna creators and Heavy Metal Magazine, I hope you fail. I really do. I hope you learn a lesson and learn to put your pride where it belongs, in your back pocket. Like, pride and ego destroys people usually. It's kind of like having a dick. It's kind of like that Bill Burr joke. You can be on top of the world and dangling between your legs is this thing that can corrupt, that can destroy your entire empire. That is what could probably happen. I'm hoping it happens because I would like to see these morons taken down a peg or two from their high horse. And I had no idea where I was going with this. I have no idea where. I really didn't. The point is, don't give these people money. They hate your guts, so why reward their profligacy? They don't deserve your money. They don't deserve your loyalty. They don't deserve your adoration. So just give them the finger. Tell them to fuck off. They don't listen to criticism that well. Again, they have too big of an ego for that. So I say let them crash and burn. They deserve every bit of it. I've said that before and I'll say it again. People like Jerry Conway and Ta-Nehisi Coates are ruining the industry, and they are constantly being rewarded or failing upwards. So yeah, let it all burn. Let it die so it can be rebuilt, because once it's no longer profitable, real fans can come back and make it what it was before. Great. Make entertainment great again, basically. To quote Weaponized Nerd Rage. And yeah, have a nice day. I really had no idea where I was going with this. My mind was all over the place on this one. I'd say I'd blame it on the ambience, but I'm not taking any. So, yeah, have a nice day. Remember, the game was right from the start.